Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel today. Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 running backs in the National Football League. Now I made this video a little while ago about the quarterbacks. You guys seem to really like that one. So I'm going to do at least one or two more position groups. Going to break them down in a top 10 format for you guys. So if you guys enjoy the format of this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos of mine. And I want you guys to comment down below what you think of my list. So make sure to stay to the end of the video so you get my whole list. Comment down below what you think. I want to see if you agree or disagree with me. But let's go ahead and get into the list, starting with an honorable mention. It's going to be Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler, to me, isn't a very great running back. I don't think he does a lot of things very well. He doesn't run inside the tackles particularly well, but I can't ignore his production, right? The number one job of running backs is to score touchdowns, and he does that pretty much better than anybody in the NFL. So although he's not as technically refined, I think, as a lot of other these guys, I do think he's very productive, and he deserves a spot in the honorable mention list because of that. But getting into the top 10, I'm going to go ahead and start with Breece Hall. Breece Hall, to me, had a really good year for the Jets last year before he tore his ACL. Now, this number 10 ranking is assuming that he is back to 100% after his injury last year. And if he is, I think he is going to be a special player for the Jets. First of all, I think he does a lot of things very, very well. He's fast, he's quick, he makes cuts well, he's a good receiver. I think he's pretty good as a pass blocker. He does a lot of things that you really want from a running back and from the running back position as a whole. And I think that he is poised to have some really, really big years with the Jets if he, of course, can stay healthy. The number 9 running back in the National Football League is going to be Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has kind of been low-key balling for the Packers for years now, and he obviously has not been the most popular player on that Packers offense with Aaron Rodgers being there. But with Aaron Rodgers gone, I think there's going to be an added emphasis on the Green Bay running game with Aaron Jones and with A.J. Dillon. And I think Aaron Jones is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. First of all, he's an excellent runner. He's very shifty. He's very good at avoiding tackles, I would say. He's also a really low-key good receiver. I mean, people forget that he's like really good. And for a guy like Jordan Love, who probably won't be comfortable as an NFL quarterback yet, I think he's going to get a lot more targets in that Packers offense. And I think he is going to be a good fantasy player, which isn't necessarily a requirement on this list. But I think his production is going to increase significantly. And I think that people are going to finally open their eyes to the fact that Aaron Jones is a top 10 running back in the NFL. But number 8 running back in the entire NFL is Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson had a good year with the Patriots last year, and a guy of his size really should not be able to move the way that Ramondre Stevenson does. He's a really good receiver as well. Again, he pass blocks. He's a Bill Belichick running back. I mean, he's very technically refined. He does a lot of things well. I think he's an underrated runner in the open field. It's hard to bring him down. And I really liked what he put on tape last year for the Patriots. He was the whole workhorse. Their offense wasn't very good last year, but he was the exception. He was a very good player for them last year. And I think if he puts together another season very similar to what he did last year, I think he'll be a consensus top 10 running back. But as of right now, I think he's a little bit on the bubble. Number 8 to me is probably a little bit generous, but hey, you know, it's my video, I guess. And I really like Ramondre Stevenson. I'm going to have him as the 8th best running back in the NFL. Next, for number 7, this is a guy that I'm a little bit lower on than a lot of other people. That's Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, very, very productive last year. Ran the ball better than anybody. He led the NFL in rushing, made a lot of huge plays for the Raiders last year. And people want to put him in the top 3-4 running backs. I'm not totally there yet. Again, I don't think his game as a whole is as refined as a lot of these other guys. Not a great receiver, you know. He is a good running back. He's powerful. He's fast. Yes, those are a lot of great things, but I think as a whole, you know, he's not as talented as some of the guys I have higher on the list. And I do have questions about his current holdout. You know, is he going to play? Is he going to go down the Lev Bell route where he, you know, holds out too long to where it kind of, I think, affects his career? Remember, running backs really don't have that long of a prime, to be completely honest with you. And if he wastes this year, you know, fighting for more money, I do worry about the future of Josh Jacobs. But last year, he was phenomenal. He was really, really good. The Raiders' offensive line, I would say, was probably subpar, and he may do. Just a complete workhorse for the Raiders. Did a great job. Right now I have him at number 7. That might be a little bit low, but I think he can be the 7th best running back in the NFL, and I can feel comfortable about that. At number 6, I have a guy that I just really love, and that's Tony Pollard for the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Pollard last year ran for over 1,000 yards, and he lost so many snaps to Ezekiel Elliott. And that is not because Tony Pollard is not as good as Ezekiel Elliott. It is because Jerry Jones has a secret love affair with Ezekiel Elliott, and because they extended him and paid him all that money. Once the Cowboys shifted to having Tony Pollard as their running back one, their offense unlocked a new gear. Tony Pollard was a dominant runner. He was a big play threat. He was also a big play threat in the air. I mean, you guys remember that Minnesota Vikings game? He was going off, man. Tony Pollard is so good. Tony Pollard is, I love him. I think he's great. He is going to get a lot more opportunities in this coming season because of the departure of Ezekiel Elliott, and I am very excited. I'm so excited to see Tony Pollard soar. I think, the sixth best running back. I think he could climb a few spots, if I'm being honest. And playing on the franchise tag this year, he has a lot to play for. He's gonna, work for that extension hopefully, and I don't necessarily think Deuce Vaughn is going to steal a lot of reps from him. I think he's going to have a huge year in Dallas with a pretty good offensive line. And I think Tony Pollard is going to enter the top 5 running back conversation very, very soon. But speaking of the top 5 running backs, I can't take this guy out just yet. Jonathan Taylor. Now, he had a bad season last year. He's kind of hampered by injuries, and I get that. And this offseason has been weird, to say the very least. Jonathan Taylor, to me, is still one of the most talented running backs in the NFL. He's one of the best athletes at the running back position. To watch this man run, I mean, it is insane. Like, he just speeds past everybody. If you guys remember his combine performance from a couple of years ago when he was coming out, I mean, it blew everybody away. This guy he had such good contact balance. He was so fast. He was strong. He could do everything. And 2 years ago, he did exactly that for the Indianapolis Colts, one of the best running backs in the NFL. I'm not going to take him out of the top 5 just yet, but I do worry that some more injuries have been cropping up in this offseason. He is, kind of beefing with the Colts owner right now. Those things kind of worry me, but he hasn't negated himself enough to drop him out of my top 5 running back rankings. I still believe in Jonathan Taylor. If he's healthy and he's playing, he's going to be one of the best running backs in the NFL. I firmly, firmly believe that. And right now, I have him at number 5. At number 4, I have a guy that some people might have at number 1, but I would beg to differ a little bit. That's going to be Derrick Henry. Talking from a pure domination standpoint, the most dominating running back in the NFL. He's like 6'3". He's probably like 250. He's fast. He's built like a brick wall. I mean, even if you catch him, you're not bringing him down. He is just a bulldozer with wheels. I mean, it's incredible. If you're building a running back in a lab, like you want the most beast mode running back of all time, you're building Derrick Henry. Now, why is he at number 4 and not number 1? 2 things. A, Derrick Henry, I don't want to say he's a one-trick pony because that's not a fair assessment. Derrick Henry needs to play a certain way. He needs to run downhill, right? Derrick Henry is not the kind of guy that is really going to juke you out of your shoes. He's not going to, tiptoe around you. He is going through you, and he is going past you. That is Derrick Henry's game. Derrick Henry is also not very involved in the passing game at all, right? He's not a really, really good receiver. He doesn't really change the offense like some of these other guys. So Derrick Henry, again, not a one-trick pony per se, but there's a different style of offense that he plays. Now, he plays that style better than anybody in the NFL. If we're at the 1-yard line, who do I want getting the ball out of everybody in the NFL? It's Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry, though, he does lack in a few other categories that I think some guys will thrive in. Because of that, I'm going to put him at number 4. It is, pretty neck and neck with these top 4 guys. I'm putting him at number 4. He is getting a little bit older as well. I know people don't want to have that conversation, but he is getting up there a little bit. Number 4, you guys can hate on me in the comments if you want. And then getting into my top 3 running backs, I have a hot take that this should probably be the consensus top 3 running backs in the NFL. At number 3, I have Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is phenomenal. If you guys remember when he was coming out of Penn State, first of all, for a running back to be taken 2nd overall in the 21st century is remarkable. But he was considered by a lot of people who know ball well to be the best running back prospect in a very, very long time. It is his insane blend of everything: speed, athleticism, elusiveness, quickness. His cuts are amazing. He has hands. He can, run decent routes, I would say. Nothing crazy, nothing like, Christian McCaffrey. But he runs, he is just phenomenal. The one kryptonite to his career so far has been injuries. Last year, though, he was able to play a fully healthy season and, for my money, totally carry that Giants offense. I mean, I'm not a Daniel Jones believer per se, and they really don't have a lot of weapons. They really didn't have a lot of weapons last year. Saquon Barkley was a huge part of that offense, a huge part of that offense. And it's even more baffling why the Giants don't want to extend him, but whatever. Here's the thing. I think Saquon Barkley is awesome. And you look at the top two guys in front of him, and I think they're just a little bit more special in their own way. And I'll get into that in just a second. Saquon Barkley is younger than Derrick Henry as well. He has a lot of strength, speed, size. He's got it all, really. Again, if he can stay healthy, I think he's a consensus top 3 running back. I really don't think there should be much of an argument there. Real ball knowers know that this is the definitive top 2, by the way. Christian McCaffrey is at number 2. Christian McCaffrey is a special running back because he is by far the best receiving running back in the entire NFL. He's also a pretty good runner. He's not a, gap to gap. He's not as good gap to gap as Derrick Henry is. Obviously, if you meet him in the hole, you have a much better chance of tackling Christian McCaffrey than you do Derrick Henry. But Christian McCaffrey is an elite receiver. Like, legitimately, if this dude played a wide receiver in the NFL, I think he would be an elite wide receiver, which is crazy coming from the running back position. He is also super quick, super fast, and I think an added bonus for Chris McCaffrey that he's in the Kyle Shanahan offense. Now that he's been in San Francisco for a full offseason, Kyle Shanahan is going to scheme up the most creative shit you've ever seen for Christian McCaffrey, and it is going to be very, very fun to watch. So Christian McCaffrey, I think, is the second best running back in the NFL, and honestly, if it weren't for one guy, I think we can make a serious argument that he is the best running back in the NFL. But in my opinion, the best running back in the NFL, and I know I'm going to get shit on for this, to me it's Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is the best runner of the football in the NFL. I mean, it's in the name, it's in the description of a running back. You got to run the football. He is the best runner of the football in the NFL. He, again, possesses good size to speed ratios. And I think an underrated part of Nick Chubb's game is, for years, Kareem Hunt was the receiving back in Cleveland. He was getting all of the targets in the passing game. Well, now that Kareem Hunt is gone, I think that the Browns are going to add an emphasis on Nick Chubb in the passing game. I think he's going to be more involved in the passing game. I think he's going to be more of a focal point, in those flat routes and those checkdowns and everything like that. They'll probably run some screens as well. I think Nick Chubb is going to be a much more involved receiver, which adds just another element to his game where he's already the best runner in the NFL. I think the sky is absolutely the limit for Nick Chubb in Cleveland. And he has been, a really underrated running back for many years now. And I think it's only going to continue to go up with him in Cleveland without Kareem Hunt. So I have him as the best running back in the NFL. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys agreed with my list, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe. We're trying to reach 500 by the start of the NFL season. Once again, let me know what you think of my list down below, and I'll talk to you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out.